My beloved child, if you found this message today, it is not by accident. I, Archangel Gabriel, have been sent with a message for your heart. A message that many people will ignore. A message that some will not understand. But you were guided here because heaven knows exactly what you have been carrying. For a long time, you have been waiting. Waiting for answers, waiting for clarity, waiting for something to finally change. You have prayed in silence. You have questioned whether your prayers were reaching heaven. You have wondered if God still sees your struggle. But today, I need you to hear this clearly. Heaven has not forgotten you. Not for a single moment. Every tear you cried was counted. Every prayer you whispered was heard. Every sleepless night was noticed. And now something is beginning to move behind the scenes. Even though you cannot see it yet. Even though the evidence has not appeared. Even though everything around you may still look the same. The spiritual atmosphere around your life is changing. There are conversations taking place that you know nothing about. Doors are quietly being prepared. Opportunities are being arranged. People are being positioned. And soon, a message will reach you. A message that carries the answer you have been waiting for. But before that message arrives, heaven needs to prepare your heart. Because sometimes blessings arrive in unexpected ways. Sometimes the answer does not look the way you imagined. Sometimes God sends help through people you never expected. That is why you must remain open, remain faithful, remain hopeful. Do not allow disappointment to convince you that nothing is happening. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming that silence means God is absent. But silence often means preparation. Silence often means heaven is arranging details that cannot be rushed. And your season of preparation is nearing its completion. The breakthrough you have prayed for is closer than you think. But there is something else you must understand. A certain fear has been trying to keep you trapped. A fear that whispers, what if nothing changes? What if I am disappointed again? What if I hope too much? My beloved child, those fears do not come from heaven. Because heaven sees what is coming. And what is coming carries more light than darkness, more peace than confusion, more answers than questions. You may not know the exact day, you may not know the exact hour, but heaven is asking you to trust the process, trust the timing, trust the unseen work taking place around you. Because very soon, something will happen that confirms everything I am telling you now. And when it happens, you will realize that God was working the entire time. Even when you could not see it. Even when you doubted. Even when you felt alone. But there is still one important warning Gabriel needs to share with you. A warning about a distraction that could cause you to miss a powerful blessing, my beloved child. Listen carefully. Because the distraction I spoke of is not what most people expect. It is not necessarily a person. It is not necessarily a situation. Sometimes the greatest distraction is discouragement. The moment people stop believing, they stop seeing the signs heaven places before them. And lately, discouragement has been trying to steal your focus. You have experienced delays. You have watched others receive blessings, while you continued waiting. You have questioned why certain doors remained closed. You have wondered if your opportunity somehow passed you by. But I, Archangel Gabriel, tell you now, nothing meant for you has passed you. Nothing that heaven has written for your journey can be taken away by another person. What belongs to you will find its way to you. What God has prepared for you cannot be blocked forever. The enemy wants you to believe that the story is over. But heaven says the story is still being written. In fact, you are much closer to a turning point than you realize. There are pieces coming together right now. Pieces you cannot yet see. Connections you do not yet know about. Events being aligned in ways your human mind cannot fully understand. And when these pieces finally come together, you will look back and understand why certain delays were necessary. Because if some doors had opened earlier, you would not have been ready. If certain opportunities had arrived sooner, you might have missed something important. Heaven was protecting you. even during moments that felt like rejection, even during moments that felt unfair, even during moments when you wondered if God had forgotten your name. God never forgets his children. Not one prayer, not one dream, not one promise. And there is a promise connected to your current season. A promise that has survived every challenge. A promise that has survived every setback. A promise that is still alive. You may feel tired. You may feel weary. You may feel like giving up. But heaven is asking you to hold on a little longer, because a significant shift is approaching. You have been carrying burdens that were never meant to remain with you forever. You have been fighting battles that are reaching their conclusion, and soon you will begin to notice small confirmations, unexpected signs, unexpected conversations, unexpected opportunities. They may seem small at first, but they will be evidence that heaven is moving. Do not ignore these signs. Do not dismiss them as coincidence, because heaven often speaks through simple moments before revealing something larger. And there is someone connected to your future blessing, someone whose role is far more important than you currently understand. This person has been moving closer to your path, closer than you realize, closer than they themselves realize. And in the next part, Archangel Gabriel reveals who this person may be and why their arrival could change everything. My beloved child, take a deep breath and listen with your heart, because the person I mentioned is not appearing in your life by chance. Long before you knew their name, long before your paths crossed, long before either of you understood what was happening, heaven was already arranging connections. This is something many people fail to recognize. They believe every meeting is random, every conversation is accidental, every encounter is meaningless. But heaven often works through people. God uses relationships, conversations, and divine appointments to guide his children toward their purpose. And there is someone whose role in your journey is becoming increasingly important. This does not necessarily mean romance. It does not necessarily mean a soulmate. For some, this person may become a trusted friend. For others, a mentor. For others, a partner in a mission God has placed upon their heart. The exact form may differ, but the purpose remains the same. This connection is carrying something valuable, something heaven intends to use for your growth. And here is what you need to understand. The connection may not appear dramatic at first. In fact, it may seem ordinary. A simple conversation, a simple introduction, a simple opportunity. Yet behind that ordinary moment is a divine purpose, because some of heaven's greatest blessings arrive quietly, without fanfare, without warning, without immediate recognition. That is why discernment is important during this season. Pay attention to the people who bring peace rather than confusion. Pay attention to those who encourage your growth rather than your fear. Pay attention to those who inspire faith instead of doubt. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay, but some are sent for a reason. And heaven is asking you not to close your heart because of past disappointments. Yes, you have been hurt before. Yes, trust may have been broken. Yes, there were moments when people failed you. But do not allow old wounds to prevent new blessings. The enemy often uses past pain to build walls around the future. Walls of fear, walls of suspicion, walls of isolation. Yet heaven is calling you to healing, because where healing grows, blessings can enter. Where trust is restored, purpose can flourish. And there is another reason this connection matters. The person approaching your path carries information you need. Not necessarily secret information, not necessarily dramatic news, but wisdom, perspective, guidance, a piece of the puzzle that helps you move forward. You have been trying to solve everything alone. You have been carrying responsibilities that feel heavy. You have been searching for answers, and heaven is preparing assistance in ways you do not expect. There is something within you that must change first. A mindset, a belief, a hidden fear that has quietly limited your progress for far too long. And in the next part, Archangel Gabriel reveals the fear that must be released before your breakthrough can fully arrive. My beloved child, The sign you have been waiting for may not arrive the way you expect. Many people imagine that heaven always speaks through dramatic miracles. They expect lightning from the sky. They expect an instant transformation. They expect every answer to appear at once, but often heaven begins with something much smaller. A door that suddenly opens, a conversation that feels perfectly timed, an unexpected opportunity, a feeling of peace where anxiety once lived. These are often the first signs that a new season has begun, and one of these signs is approaching your life now. You may notice a situation that once felt impossible becoming easier. You may notice a burden becoming lighter. You may notice clarity replacing confusion. What once felt stuck will begin to move. What once felt delayed will begin to advance. What once felt uncertain will begin to make sense. This is how heaven often works. Not through chaos, but through alignment. Not through fear, but through peace. And as this alignment begins, something important will happen within you. Your faith will start growing stronger again. The doubts that have been surrounding your mind will lose their power. The worries that have been stealing your peace will begin to fade, because evidence of God's presence will become harder to ignore. My beloved child, you have asked heaven for confirmation. You have prayed for reassurance. You have asked for a sign that you are still on the right path. And that sign is coming. But remember this, do not become so focused on looking for one specific answer that you miss the blessings arriving in a different form. God is not limited by your expectations. His solutions are often greater than what you imagined.
His timing is often wiser than what you preferred.
His plans are often bigger than what you requested. That is why trust remains essential. Even now, even during the waiting, even during the uncertainty, because heaven can see what you cannot. And what heaven sees is a future that contains restoration, a future that contains growth, a future that contains opportunities you have not yet imagined. But there is one final message Gabriel must share before this revelation is complete. A message about the next chapter of your journey. A message about what heaven wants you to remember no matter what happens next. And in the final part, Archangel Gabriel reveals the most important truth of all. The truth that could change the way you see your future forever. Finally, my beloved child, if you have listened this far, then this final message is especially for you. I, Archangel Gabriel, want you to remember one truth above all others. You are not walking this journey alone. There were moments when you felt abandoned. Moments when the silence felt endless. Moments when you wondered if heaven had forgotten your prayers. But even during those moments, you were being guided. You were being protected. You were being prepared. Many times, God was working behind the scenes while you saw nothing changing. Many times, doors were being opened while you believed they were closed. Many times, blessings were moving toward you while you thought they were moving away. That is why you must never judge your future by your current circumstances. Your current situation is not the final chapter of your story. Your present struggle is not your permanent destination. Your delay is not your denial. My beloved child, the next season of your life carries possibilities you cannot yet see. New opportunities, new connections, new wisdom, new strength, new purpose. And perhaps most importantly, a deeper understanding of how much God truly loves you. Because everything you have endured has taught you something valuable. Every challenge strengthened your faith. Every disappointment increased your resilience. Every delay prepared you for greater responsibility. Nothing was wasted. Not your tears, not your prayers, not your waiting. Heaven can use all of it, even now. And when you look back one day, you will see how every piece fit together. You will see why certain doors remained closed. You will see why certain people left. You will see why certain answers took longer than expected. And you will realize that God was leading you towards something better all along. So today, release your fears, release your doubts, release the need to control every detail. Place your trust back into God's hands. Walk forward with faith. Walk forward with hope. Walk forward knowing that heaven is still writing your story. The breakthrough you seek is not as far away as it seems. The answer you have prayed for has not been forgotten. The blessing that belongs to you is still making its way toward you. Stand strong. Stay faithful. Keep believing, because your journey is not ending. It is only beginning. Archangel Gabriel's message for today is complete. May peace, wisdom, and divine guidance surround you wherever you go.